Taiwan expands domestic production of the world's most advanced semiconductors, keeping it at the top of the global chip game. Will Taiwan's nuclear power plants get a new lease on life? Anti-nuclear activists in Taiwan are hoping not. Rescuers in Myanmar and Thailand race against the clock to find survivors from Friday's massive earthquake.
คือตอนนี้ทีมก็พยายามจะหาคนช่วยคนที่ยังมีชีวิตรอดอยู่เพราะว่าภายในเวลา72 ชั่วโมงเนี่ย
Plus,
here in Taipei, migrant workers are protesting gender-based violence in Taiwan and around the world.
a warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chan. TSMC is signaling its commitment to Taiwan by expanding its domestic capacity to make its most advanced chips. The chip maker has been in hot water after recent overseas investments raised fears it would be giving away some of the country's competitive edge. Joyce Tseng reports.
TSMC is doubling down on its operations here in Taiwan by giving a rare glimpse into one of its factories that will be making its valuable 2-nanometer processors, the most advanced chip technology available in the world. The site, Fab 22 in Kaohsiung, is said to be the only other place outside the firm's headquarters further north in Hsinchu to make the 2-nanometer nodes. These are on track to hit mass production later this year. It's a class of chip TSMC says is faster and more efficient and is expected to create end products worth about $2 trillion within 5 years. The TSMC has been working to dispel fears that it could lose its tech advantage to other countries. Just this month, its head, C.C. Wei, was at the White House with U.S. President Donald Trump, pledging massive added investments to the U.S. to build 6 more facilities in Arizona. Some in Taiwan worry that with more of TSMC's advanced chips available on American soil, Washington could have less interest in supporting the country, a national security concern given Beijing's continued threat to invade. TSMC and Taiwan's president have both reassured the public that the chipmaker's most advanced tech will stay in Taiwan, a message alluded to at this ceremony as well by both TSMC's executive vice president YP Chin and the country's premier Zuo Rongtai. In chips, the goal of TSMC's competitors is to try and hit a moving target. These chips are constantly improving and becoming more sophisticated. So with 2-nanometer nodes on track for mass production in Taiwan later this year, the country is still ahead of the game for years to come. Alex Chen and Joyce Sin for TaiwanPlus.
Stock markets are falling sharply here in Asia ahead of more long-threatened U.S. tariffs that the White House says will apply to all countries. Taiwan's index closed down 4.2% after falling over 7% over the past few days of trading. The country's most valuable stock, chipmaker TSMC, is down 4.41%. The Taiwan dollar also fell against the U.S. dollar to a 9-year low. In Japan, its stock index briefly fell to its lowest point in over 6 months. Anxiety is growing over U.S. President Donald Trump's policy to wipe U.S. trade imbalances with tariffs. Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea all run trade surpluses with the U.S. In Taipei, President Lai Ching-te's office says he's looking into the possibility of the response measures to protect Taiwan's interest and economic stability. Opposition lawmakers are looking to keep Taiwan's last nuclear reactors alive through new measures that could also lead to restarting shuttered plants. It comes amid pushback from some in the country and financial troubles for the state power utility. Chris Goring reports.
Taiwan's nuclear power plants may get a new lease on life as opposition lawmakers debate extending operations of the country's last working reactor and perhaps reopening closed ones.
为因应国际环境变迁，增进我国的能源安全，修法使已停机之核电厂在经核安会确认其安全性以后，得申请再运转执照。
That last reactor is set to shut down in under 2 months. as the ruling Democratic Progressive Party sticks to its pledge for a nuclear-free Taiwan by 2025. Outside the legislature, protesters say nuclear power still isn't safe.
验证已经很清楚的是，目前3座老旧核电厂的位置呢，都靠近活动断层。那这些原有的核废料都没有人要的情况底下，你再陆续增加，那下一代谁要负责？
The debate comes just days after the national electric utility, Taipower, announced it would not raise prices, despite years of losses totaling more than $12 billion. Those are in large part because of a spike in fossil fuel prices. Around 80% of Taiwan's electricity still comes from imported fossil fuels, as a reduction in coal and nuclear power has been offset by an increase in natural gas use. Some say more nuclear power could solve two problems.
1 kilowatt hour only need 1.1 New Taiwan dollar per kilowatt hour. Gas-fired power plant is more than 3.4. If nuclear is allowed to provide electricity to the grid, that is not only useful but also helpful to improve Taipower's financial situation.
Others are more skeptical.
它台电的安检要花多少时间？要花多少钱？汰换设备要花多少钱？要多少时间？这些核电厂才能够真的延役。我们国人必须要在有充分、公开、透明的讯息之下，才能够来讨论延役这件事情。
The ruling Democratic Progressive Party says it's open to rethinking nuclear power, but with the last reactor still set to shut down, time is running out to decide. Kao Hung-an and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
The official death toll from Myanmar's magnitude 7.7 earthquake has risen to 1,700. Rescue teams are now racing against the clock to find survivors. Rosie Greninger reports.
After 60 hours trapped, a woman is pulled alive from the wreckage of a collapsed hotel in Myanmar. 3 days since the magnitude 7.7 earthquake struck the country's second largest city, Mandalay, rescuers are racing to locate survivors within the critical 72-hour window, as the chances after that are significantly reduced. At least 1,700 people have been confirmed dead, and there are fears that that toll will rise significantly, with the Red Cross saying the devastation here is the worst seen in Asia in more than 100 years.
Many homes has been destroyed, road and bridge damaged. Many children and families are still missing and traumatized. We need urgent assistance, especially for the children, who often suffer the most in these kinds of situations.
The international community has heeded that call, with rescue teams from China and Russia assisting on the ground. And emergency supplies and millions of dollars in aid coming in from across the globe. But it is yet to reach all the impacted areas. In a country already battered by civil war and poorly equipped to deal with such a large-scale disaster, residents are joining in the effort, digging with their bare hands. But rescue efforts are being hindered by powerful aftershocks. And there have also been reports that the military junta, which seized power in a coup 4 years ago, continued to launch airstrikes, despite opposition forces declaring a unilateral 2-week ceasefire. In neighbouring Thailand, the urgency also is palpable. Rescue teams are searching through the rubble of a collapsed building in Bangkok for survivors. 11 of the 18 people confirmed dead in Thailand were pulled from this building.
คือตอนนี้ทีมก็พยายามจะหาคนช่วยคนที่ยังมีชีวิตรอดอยู่เพราะว่าภายในเวลา72 ชั่วโมงเนี่ยเราจะพยายามช่วยคนที่มีชีวิตก่อนพวกอาวุธเรื่องรถแมคโครอะไรยังต้องเพราะว่าบางทีเวลาไปช่วยอะไรอาจจะมีผลกระทบเราต้องช่วยให้หมาให้คนเนี่ยดำเนินการช่วยก่อน
76 people are still missing beneath the debris. US military have joined the effort there, but as the window to find survivors closes, those waiting here are preparing for the worst. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Another Chinese spouse is leaving Taiwan after making pro-unification remarks in videos shared online. Taiwan's immigration agency says the woman, known as Hsinchu, is set to depart Taiwan on Monday night. Her residency permit was revoked for promoting military unification on social media. She's the second Chinese spouse to leave the country in a week for posting controversial videos. A third is also required to leave Taiwan by Monday for similar reasons, but immigration officials have not confirmed details of her pending departure. Taiwan's mass lawmaker recall saga rages on, with all three main parties coming out over the weekend to rally supporters and push their campaign into high gear. Leslie Liao has more.
Taiwan is embroiled in a slew of recall campaigns. Across the country, lawmakers from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party and the main opposition Kuomintang face takedown campaigns. But here in the northern city of Hsinchu, the stakes are high for the smaller Taiwan People's Party, which for the first time is pushing for an all-out mobilization to fend off recall efforts. Hsinchu Mayor Kao Hung-an, who won the party's first ever mayoral post, is the only politician in that role to be targeted in this mass recall movement. Kao has been suspended from her duties over corruption charges, and she has since withdrawn from the party. Despite that, the TPP is still throwing its support behind her. As the TPP dug in and defended its position in Hsinchu, it received a helping hand from the larger opposition party, the Kuomintang. Prominent KMT politicians like outspoken lawmaker Xie Longjie urged Hsinchu residents to stand up for Kao. Hsinchu's event was more than a call to action for the TPP. It was also a show of support for the party's founder, Ko Wen-je. The former presidential candidate has been detained incommunicado on corruption charges for almost 7 months, and now reports are surfacing that Ko's health is deteriorating. Over in New Taipei, the DPP held its own event. Some of the party's lawmakers targeted by recall petitions also played defense. The DPP says the opposition coalition, which holds a majority in the legislature, has hurt the country with record cuts and freezes to the central government budget. But the party says its supporters and the grassroots recall campaigns against the opposition reflect the true will of the people. All three parties are asking people to come out in full force during this recall saga. With all cards on the table, each side seems compelled to go all in. Ryan Wu, Fu Hua Hong, and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Migrant workers are marking the end of International Women's Month with 1 billion rising, a global campaign against gender-based violence. This year, they're not only shedding light on the difficulties migrant women face in Taiwan, but also raising issues Palestinian women are dealing with. Gino Lopez reports.
Migrant workers from all over Taipei steal the show at Taipei Main Station, dancing to celebrate International Women's Month. But this is no ordinary performance. It's a protest against gender-based violence and what they say is the unfair treatment of migrant workers in Taiwan.
It's a very dignifying experience for a lot of migrants that this problem that I'm sure many of them have faced it gets put and everyone's forced to see it.
It's part of 1 Billion Rising, an annual global campaign to end violence against women, held in 60 countries across the world. In Taiwan, a study by labor organization Serve the People Association revealed that 1 in 6 migrant workers face gender-based violence. Of them, 90% are domestic workers. In the manufacturing sector, 78% of migrant workers who get pregnant are forced to terminate their contracts and return home. Here, migrant workers are talking about their experiences.
Yung magkasakit ka na dadalhin mo ang sarili mo sa ospital na walang tutulong sa iyo. Doon ko na-realize na kaawa-awa ang mga caretaker na katulad ko.
Na-stress lang po ako noong time na yun na terminate po ako ng company namin. Tapos wala po akong malapitan na ibang tao dito sa Taiwan.
This year though, people here are also standing up for another issue. On Land Day, an annual date commemorating the plight of people living in the occupied Palestinian territories, where 2/3 of people killed in recent Israeli strikes on Gaza were reportedly women and children, according to the Enclave's health ministry. Julia Moriano, an organizer for 1 Billion Rising, highlights the struggles of migrant women in Taiwan and women in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, saying both groups faced forced migration, one driven by war, the other by economic hardship.
We see it as connected in that migrant women and Palestinian women, in their fight to secure a better future for their family, they're at the forefront of facing this violence.
While Taiwan's government has taken steps to address migrant worker issues, such as allowing more freedom to change employers and promoting direct hiring from their home countries, activists here say those efforts are not enough.
They don't have any protection for their reproductive rights. So when they are pregnant, they will always face this harassment from the employers or the brokers.
Taiwan currently has over 825,000 migrant workers, mainly from Southeast Asia. This gathering serves as a yearly reminder that while Taiwan prides itself as a champion of human rights and democracy, much has yet to change for these women. Migrant women here are speaking out against what they call exploitation. Their fight for justice and equality is not just about Taiwan, it's a call for women everywhere. Justin Wu, Sandy Chi, and Gino Lopez in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
A leaked Pentagon memo says deterring a Chinese attack on Taiwan is one of the top priorities for U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. That's according to the Washington Post. It comes as Taiwan is set to receive a new batch of advanced fighter jets, and as the U.S. seems to be starting a new defense shift to Asia. Hamil Khan reports.
After more than 6 years, Taiwan is getting what it's long been waiting for: brand new F-16 fighter jets. Lockheed Martin, which produces the jets, unveiled the aircraft at a ceremony in the U.S. state of South Carolina. Among those attending was Taiwan's Deputy Defense Minister for Policy, whose invitation was kept secret until after the ceremony, due to the lack of official ties between the U.S. and Taiwan.
我想这次美方邀请我方参加战机出厂典礼，除了展示战机的产制成果，也彰显了美国政府依据《台湾关系法》以及6项保证，持续协助台湾提升自我防卫能力的一个承诺。
These new F-16Vs are the most advanced version of the jet in the world. In 2019, Taiwan placed an order for 66 of them. Part of that order also included an upgrade for the country's existing fleet of 141 earlier F-16s. With these purchases and upgrades, Taiwan will now have a fighter fleet of mostly US-made aircraft.
它可以携带更多的弹药，它的飞行性能也会增加，也就是搭载这个4型油箱，在机背这里有4型油箱，那么它的航程可以延伸30%，所以在不作战半径大致上可以延伸到1200公里以上。
In recent months, Taiwan has seen an influx in weapons deliveries from its biggest arms supplier, as both countries step up efforts to defend the island nation against China's threats to take it by force. China has ramped up its aggression in the region, conducting 3 large-scale military exercises around Taiwan in less than 12 months, something the U.S. is growing increasingly anxious about. A leaked Pentagon memo revealed by the Washington Post confirmed those concerns, with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shifting the U.S. military to prioritize deterring China's seizure of Taiwan by assuming risk in Europe and other parts of the world. Some parts of the memo are identical to a report from the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank based in D.C. One of the authors of the report is Alex Velez-Green, who is in line for a top policy position at the Pentagon. TaiwanPlus spoke with him before the U.S. presidential election, and he said defending Taiwan was a top priority.
There are increasingly questions about whether Taiwan can still be defended. And that is a statement about the fact that China has gone full on in its military modernization. I think there is still a plausible, a very credible path to being able to deter or defeat a Chinese invasion, or at least have the option to do so for a U.S. president, for their decision. But it will take, I think, very deliberate and concerted action by the United States, by Taiwan, and others in the region.
This kind of concerted effort is being welcomed by officials from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party here in Taiwan, who agree more cooperation is needed to manage China's aggression.
未来要协调一些美国在各个地方的资源，那集中在印太区域，特别是在防止台湾被中国夺取。那他们未来会投注的资源，不管是在后勤或者是在物资、战略资源的这一个储存，这些都会再加强。
While Taiwan is celebrating the delivery of its new jets, this is just one of many steps Taipei is looking to take together with the U.S., as stronger alliances and partnerships might need to take priority over flashy new weapons. Devin Tsai and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
Israel has ordered the evacuation of nearly all of Rafah, Gaza's southernmost city, prompting fears of another major ground operation. The order comes as Israel and Hamas have failed to agree to a ceasefire. Palestinian officials say over 60 people, including children, were killed in Gaza on Sunday by Israeli airstrikes. Hamas had agreed on Saturday to a new ceasefire proposal from mediators Egypt and Qatar, to which Israel says it proposed a counter-offer. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has repeated demands for Hamas to disarm and exile its leaders, which the group refuses to do. Taipei Fashion Week is the city's twice-a-year chance to show off the latest styles for humans. But as Sandy Chi reports, there was an unusual group of models that stole the spotlight at this year's show.
Lights, camera, wag. These special fashionistas dressed in dazzling outfits are taking the runway by storm at Taipei Fashion Week, part of this year's Taipei Fashion Week. This event highlights the work of Justin Zhou, a renowned local designer.
其实我们这次先以动物造型为出发，然后人类去搭配，好像这个比如说阿富汗猎犬金头发，然后配金发的 model， 我们都是从动物这边先发想，然后再把人的造型搭进去。然后我们这次的服装其实很多都是永续，就是二手的牛仔外套，或者是一些阿嬷的花毯，不同的时代的东西组合在一起。
Many owners were surprised and proud to see their pets hitting the runway in such style.
我觉得它超美的，它比我预期中要来的更适合这件衣服，然后它真的很闪亮，我很喜欢。
A growing number of Taiwanese people have decided to adopt pets rather than have kids in recent years. They often treat the animals as full family members, showering them with unlimited toys, cuddles, and sometimes clothes.
其实我就把他们当成自己小朋友，然后就是可以打扮，然后我自己也开心。他就是帅气。 我喜欢把他穿帅帅的，就一眼看出来他是男生。然后女生我喜欢那公主风，所以要是很缤纷的样子这样。
他从小就有穿衣服，主要是为了防脏。然后目前为止大概有超过100套衣服吧。
Designer Justin Zhou says he sees fashion becoming a potential trend in Taiwan's pet market.
应该有下一个目标，希望把我们用一些很机能的布料，像奥运的布料，一些负离子，促进新陈代谢，然后对小狗很好或凉感的，放在他们的宠物衣服身上。
And to further spice things up, this runway show has invited a few select audience members to walk down the runway with their pets to compete in a special new contest, dubbed Taipei's Next Top Model. The winner this time, Ivy Lee and her poodle Phoebe.
非常开心，就是觉得非常的值得参加这个活动啊。我们是奢华风，因为现在我们主人对宠物都非常的用心，希望他们可以达到最好的照顾这样子。
Though there was only one winner, all the contestants here won the appreciation of the audience.
From chic designer outfits to custom couture accessories, this event has proved that fashion isn't just for humans, but also these special companions. Hsinchu and Sunny Chi in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Finally, we take you to this art museum in the Netherlands, where a new exhibition reimagines Vermeer's painting, Girl with the Pearl Earring. I'm Betty Chen. Take care and see you next time.